I think Uncle Howdy could be no other than... All right, so this whole thing between Uncle Howdy and Bray Wyatt has gotten very, very interesting, but I think I know where they're going to go next, or where they probably should go next, and it may be something you've never seen before. Now, before we get into it, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Help me out to more subscribers. If you rock with me, if you rock with the content, go ahead and give me a like, and let's talk in the comment section. Now, most people will come from the obvious angle. They think Uncle Howdy is the alter ego from Bray Wyatt. They're assuming that there's going to be a Bray Wyatt 6 or a Wyatt 6 group, because we all love factions, and WWE has been faction heavy. I don't think that's the route they're going to go at all. Those things could happen, but for me, I want to think outside of the box. If you're new to this channel, we can't think the obvious with this, because Bray Wyatt is a genius, and it will be weird for him to do something that is just so obvious. So let's talk about it. So really quick, we know that Bray Wyatt has come back as this refined character who's come out of the darkness into the light due to the love and the fans. And he's still struggling with that dark side here and there, but he's doing his best to fight and get beyond that and be a better person. Now, Uncle Howdy as a character, we know that he wants to draw Bray Wyatt back over to that dark side. And a lot of people are thinking, well, that's a whole interesting concept. Then what the heck does LA Knight have to do with any of this? Why is this feud with him and LA Knight happening? It's so stupid. But you know what? It's not stupid. I think it's perfect. I think what's happening here, this is just a prelude to get us to understand the dynamic between Bray Wyatt and Uncle Howdy. So once they add layers onto the story, it won't be confusing to probably, you know, the general audience. So they won't throw a lot of stuff at them. It gives them something, a storyline and breadcrumbs to go little by little, so they can add more layers to it over time. And this is what I mean. So as you saw last night on SmackDown, LA Knight was giving a promo, and Uncle Howdy interrupted him and gave him a video. And LA Knight was upset about it, went out to chase after Bray Wyatt, because he's assuming Bray Wyatt and Uncle Howdy is the same person. Now, the reason why that's very interesting, because that brings me back to the upside down logo of the Firefly. I believe that every time we see that Firefly, that is a stamp from Uncle Howdy to tell us this is the next person that I'm going to manipulate in order to use to go after Bray Wyatt. Because if you go back to the video that Uncle Howdy showed to LA Knight, one of the things he did say is, don't you want respect? Don't you need that? So he is manipulating LA Knight using his weakness, which is him wanting to be respected and his pride, to go after Bray Wyatt in hopes that he can beat that dark side out of Bray Wyatt and pull him back. Now, I think this entire thing that's happening here is not going to be a Wyatt 6 faction. It's not any of that. I think the whole overarching thing is going to be several tests from Uncle Howdy in order to pull Bray Wyatt over to the dark side. But then you would ask, like, why LA Knight? He has nothing to do with Bray Wyatt. If this is a test, why use this person? As, again, he's easily manipulated, but also Uncle Howdy is underestimating the power or the will of Bray Wyatt in order to overcome this test. So he's giving him like a little gimme. He thinks that a person going after him physically is going to easily break him. Another interesting thing you got to check out is also in that video that he showed LA Knight. He said at one point, he said the door is starting to close, which tells us there is a time limit of how long he can manipulate or use someone in order to tempt Bray Wyatt. And LA Knight's door is starting to close and time is starting to tick and also run out. So the interesting thing about this whole situation is that whatever feud Bray Wyatt gets into, it's not solely going to be whoever wins the matches. It's going to be time-based. It's going to be this other thing. And Uncle Howdy is going to be tempting his mind, his spirit, his heart, and everything throughout this entire thing until he can actually break him down. And people would ask, we saw this logo, this upside down Firefly logo around Liv Morgan. What does that mean? I know a lot of people are assuming that she's going to be Sister Abigail, XYZ. I don't think that's going to be the case at all. I think she's going to be the other person that's going to be manipulated by Uncle Howdy, because we saw what happened when she lost that championship. She was in deep despair. She was depressed, and her idea of herself, low self-esteem and things like that, I think Uncle Howdy is going to use that to manipulate her to go after Bray Wyatt. Now, the interesting thing there is I think this is going to be a perfect scenario in order to bring Alexa Bliss back over to SmackDown to be in the defense of Bray Wyatt, because obviously WWE isn't too fond of intergender altercations happening in the ring or so on and so forth, unless it is the woman attacking Bray. And I think what's going to happen is Liv Morgan is going to be doing some things to attack him, and he's not going to fall for it, and Alexa Bliss is going to come back in his defense. Now, what I think is going to be happening is that Liv Morgan being used by Uncle Howdy, she's going to be torturing Alexa Bliss, whether it be physically, spiritually, supernaturally, whatever you want to call it, in order to get to Bray Wyatt, because you know what villains do. If they can't get to you, they'll go after the person closest to you or go after the person that you love. And Uncle Howdy will be using Liv Morgan's insecurity of losing that title to have her infuriated at Alexa Bliss as a person who's had multiple titles. Remember, when Bray Wyatt was teased, remember they had Sister Abigail when she had those 2 titles next to her, the SmackDown Women's Championship and the Raw Women's Championship. I think that's going to play a role in this entire thing. And I think with this happening, and I haven't thought too much further, I think this will be a great setup, a great platform in order to introduce people who haven't been there yet, to bring back Eric Rowan and use him in this test that Uncle Howdy has, to bring back Bo Dallas and use him in these tests that Uncle Howdy has. Even if Bo Dallas comes back as his brother, even if he comes back dressed as the Fiend, I think that all be interesting. But I think these feuds that are going to happen in these tests, they're not going to be the typical endings. As I said before, with LA Knight, this is time-based. You know, Uncle Howdy only has so much time to control people, and maybe that's just how his power is that he only can control people for a certain amount of time, and then he has to release them and move on to the next person in order to try to bring Bray Wyatt back to the dark side. Now, I know you clicked on this video probably to figure out who exactly do I believe Uncle Howdy is, and I'll just to go ahead and give you guys a warning. This may be the dumbest thing I've ever said on this channel, and it may be the dumbest thing I said in this video, but I will stand on it because I think it could be an interesting twist. There are some things about Uncle Howdy when he speaks, his mannerisms, the way he is in the video, that leads me to believe that this could be the case. And I think Uncle Howdy could be no other than Alexa Bliss. I think that is the case. If you listen closely to when he's talk, it sounds like it is a woman's voice being transformed into a man's voice using a voice monitor. I don't think that's a male at all. And I think the reason why it will be Alexa Bliss is because she loves torturing Bray Wyatt. And also, she probably wants him to go back to being on the dark side with her, because you saw what happened at the end of their whole situation. She turned on him. She even explained why she did it. And she said that she is extremely dark. So maybe she gets some sick satisfaction out of doing things bad to Bray Wyatt. I don't know. That's the case for me. I mean, you guys let me know what you guys think in the comment section. I appreciate each and every one of you guys watching it for this long. Salute. Peace. Have a good day.